Under this condition, the indicator electrode can give information about the nature and concentration of the substance capable of exchanging electron. Under this condition means when the value of reference electrode is almost constant, the value of cell junction potential is always constant and very low. In that case, the nature and the concentration of the substance capable of exchanging electron is directly proportional to the electrode, which is electrode potential, which is measured by the indicator electrode. So in this way, the indicator electrode measures the potential which is directly proportional to the changes in the ions in the solution. E cell means EMF of the cell is equal to the indicator electrode potential plus junction potential plus reference potential. These three amount or these three values, when we combine these three values, we get the cell potential. But E reference is a constant value, E junction is a constant value and very low value. So E cell is directly proportional to the E indicator. Now, the advantages of the potentiometric titration. We use the potentiometric titration. Why? So there are so many advantages of the potentiometric titration. In potentiometric titration, the apparatus required is generally inexpensive, reliable and readily available. There are so many companies which provide this particular potentiometric instrument, which is inexpensive, not much more expensive like GLC, HPLC, which we afford at the laboratory, at the colleges. So it is generally inexpensive, reliable. Every time we get a reliable value from the potentiometry and it is readily available in the market. It is easy to interpret titration curve as we see on the board. There are three types of curves. These particular curves, we can interpret the titration curve on the board that there are three types of plots. One is E versus V, the second one is delta E by delta V versus V, and the third one is delta E square by delta V square versus V. V means volume of titrant added from the burette. Now in the first graph, one can easily see that initially when we add a titrant from the burette, a graph is slowly increases. Near the end point, a sharp rise in the graph we observe, and after the end point, that particular graph is slowly increases. So in first graph, if we see that, then E versus V, that is EMF of the indicator electrode versus volume of titrant added. Now we can easily not judge the endpoint from the first graph. So the solution is the second graph. In second graph, delta E by delta V versus volume of NaOH or the titrant added, NaOH in the case of neutralization titration. So this particular graph is more accurate because we can see the graph in which a sharp and maximum point we get. If we extrapolate this particular graph and draw a line to the x-axis where volume of titrant added is drawn, we get an end point with an accuracy. And in the third point, a graph which shows that delta E square by delta V square versus V. So these three particular graph we can interpret easily. Students and the analyst can easily interpret this particular graph. Now the third point is the method can be used for colored and opaque solution. We can observe, or we particularly see that in the laboratory, if the colored solution is there, we cannot judge the titration easily. So vinegar, that is acetic acid, which is a weak acid, So when we titrate weak acid with a strong base or weak acid with the weak base, no particular indicator is available, because each and every indicator has its own pH value where the color changes. So in the case of acetic acid Na1 NaOH or weak acid weak base acetic acid with NH4OH, we can use only potentiometric titration to get a sharp or better result. In the case of opaque solution, we cannot see the reaction, we cannot see the changes in the solution. So in that case, potentiometry is better way. The next point is, this method is applicable for analysis of dilute solution with high degree of accuracy. As we can see that in normal titrimetric analysis, in the classical titrimetric analysis, if weak acid weak base titration is there, what happen? The weak acid weak base titration we cannot judge because the indicator is not available, the reaction is very slow. So in that case, we can use this potentiometry with high degree of accuracy. We can get accurate result with this one. In a single solution, more than one component or several components are present in the solution, like we cannot determine the bromide and iodide in the same solution, but with the potentiometric titration we can easily measure or we easily detect the endpoint of both the values. This is a advantage of the potentiometric titration. In potentiometric titration, we can measure or we can determine the endpoint of several reagents, similar reagents in a same solution. In a same solution, we can judge this particular solution. The next one is, the method can be used for titrating weak acid against weak base. As we seen earlier, acetic acid with NH4OH, this method is best way. The potentiometer easily judge the endpoint in weak acid weak base, where the classical method cannot judge because indicator is not available and the reaction is very slow. The dissociation of weak acid and weak base is very less. So this particular reaction, when we done by the potentiometric analysis, we can get the better result from the graphical method. The next point is, there is no need of external indicator in oxidation reduction titration. In oxidation reduction titration, where one species deliver the electron or lose the electron and the another one is gain the electron. In this case, we can get we cannot use or there is no need to use the external indicator. There are two types of indicator, internal and external. So external indicator we cannot use in this particular potentiometric titration. Now there are 4 different types of potentiometric titration. Potentiometric titration is done by the instrument. As the classical methods are there are 4 different methods. One is neutralization titration, complexometric titration, redox titration and precipitation titration. In titrimetric analysis, when neutralization titration is done, in which the concentration of H plus and OH minus ions are concerned. So in case of we want to know the concentration of acid with a standard solution of NaOH from the burette, when we add NaOH from the burette, slowly and gradually the H plus ions in the conical flask neutralizes. At the near the equivalence point, all the H plus ions are neutralized. After the end point, the concentration of OH minus increases. This is easily done by the classical method, but in the case of strong acid strong base, strong acid weak base, weak acid strong base, but not in the case of weak acid weak base, because in the weak acid weak base the dissociation is very less, and due to this dissociation is very less and proper indicator is not available. So we have to use the potentiometric titration from the burette. When we add weak weak base to the weak acid, the potential increases slowly. At the end point, we get a clear indication of the end point with the sharp rise in the graph, as we see in the E versus V graph. Now, in the case of redox titration, an anode and cathode in potentiometric titration is there. Anode means when one species loses electron and one species gaining electron. We can see with the reaction of FeSO4 and CeSO4. So, we start with the acid base titration, which is done by the potentiometric titration. In this potentiometric titration, H plus and or OH minus ions, we see that the changes of H plus and OH minus ions same in the solution. So, the concentration of hydrogen ion or hydroxide ion are involved in the titration, because pH is changes during the titration, which depends upon the concentration of H plus. pH is equal to minus log H3O plus or H plus. The hydrogen ion electrode employed as an indicator electrode to measure the concentration of H plus and OH minus in the solution, and a standard Calomel electrode uses as a reference electrode. Now, what are the potential measured during the neutralization titration, which is a difference between the indicator electrode and the reference electrode. The potential of the reference electrode remains constant throughout the reaction, and as the H plus ion changes or OH minus ion changes during the reaction, that particular H plus or OH minus ions are measured by the electrode, indicator electrode, and by the that particular indicator electrode indicates the EMF changes in the potentiometer. So, we can draw the graph. The indicator and the reference electrode, that is the hydrogen electrode and the Calomel electrodes, are joined by the potentiometer, and the inner area, the circuit is completed between the indicator and the reference electrode by a KCl salt bridge. Without the KCl salt bridge, we cannot complete the reaction. The hydrogen and Calomel electrode are connected to the potentiometer, which records the EMF of the solution, and this particular EMF of the solution is recorded by the potentiometer. We can easily find out the end point. After each addition of NaOH from the burette into the beaker, the EMF is measured. This particular method is known as potentiometry. The another method, that is direct potentiometric method. In that particular method, we cannot add a standard solution from the burette. We can make the potential of one indicator constant, and we can measure the potential of the another. In the same way, the reverse reaction can also done. So, that is direct potentiometry, and the measure the potentiometric titration, in which a variation is there. Hydrogen ion and OH minus are constantly changes in the neutralization titration. Now, the potential of any hydrogen electrode is given by, that is indicator electrode is given by the Nernst equation. E is equal to E0 minus 0.0591 log activity of hydrogen ion at 25 degrees centigrade. Now, we know that activity of hydrogen ion is equal to the concentration of hydrogen ion, and minus log H plus is equal to pH. So, we can see that E is equal to E0 minus 0.0591 pH, where log AH plus is equal to pH, and E0 is the standard electrode potential of the cell. Now, pH, that is activity. Here we can measure the activity of any ions. Activity of any ion. It means that the electrode potential or EMF of the cell is directly proportional to the change in the pH during the titration. How pH changes? Because when we add NaOH from the solution, from the burette to the solution, then slowly and gradually the H plus ion decreases, though so pH increases, which is measured by the potentiometric instrument at the equivalence point or the end point. Now here there is no indicator is used, so equivalence point is known as end point. The EMF of the solution increases rapidly as seen on the board. Now there are three different methods to plot the curve of potentiometric titration. In this neutralization titration, E versus V, that is EMF of the EMF measured from the potentiometric instrument versus volume of the titrant added. Precipitation titration is there. Now in the precipitation titration, generally precipitates are formed by the titration of either silver nitrate solution with the NaCl or a cyanide solution. During the titration, when we add a standard solution of cyanide ion to the AgNO3 solution, initially a precipitate of Ag2Cn forms. At the equivalence point, all the silver nitrate ion solution is precipitated. After the equivalence point, we cannot get any precipitate or any free ion of silver in the solution. What happens? Is a horizontal graph we can see as seen on the board, a horizontal graph. Now precipitation titration, the titration of insoluble salts of metals, such as mercury, silver, lead and copper is done by potentiometry. This method is very useful. The indicator electrode used for the titration is of the same metal. If silver metal is used, then silver electrode is used. If mercury metal is used, then mercury electrode is used, right? So the same metal indicator is used. Whatever the solution we get, the same metal solution is used as an indicator. As per example, titration of chloride ions with a standard solution of silver nitrate, that is AgNO3, using a silver electrode as an indicator electrode, and as a reference electrode, normal hydrogen electrode is used as a reference electrode in this method. In precipitation titration, when we add AgNO3 solution from the burette, then in the NaCl solution, slowly and gradually precipitation forms. At the end point, all the NaCl, all the chloride ions are precipitated, and if all the chloride ion precipitated, after the end point we get a sharp rise in the graph. After the end point, there is no excess precipitation occurs, so which will give us a sharp end point. Now in the third method, in the complexometric titration, in complexometric titration, a complex is formed with the EDTA solution, ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid or tetraacetate. An indicator electrode of the same metal is used whose ion is involved in the complex formation, right? An indicator electrode is of the same metal. Whatever the metals, the solution we used, same metals indicator electrode is used in the complex formation titration. That is, silver electrode is used in the reaction of cyanide ion with standard solution of silver